afternoon, everyone, and welcome to LVS Perspectives number 16. So today it's a question of sport, and we welcome Connor Hall returning to LVS Ascot. So going back to the 9th of January, you may recall seeing this on the TV and reading about it in the papers too. So we've got a short clip.
Corner for Chorley. Up towards Cardwell, who won the first header. He might be turned in. Here it is! It's a goal for Chorley from Connor Hall. 10 minutes gone, and Connor Hall has put the non-league team in front. There's a yellow card there for Cresswell for a handball on the goal line, but it was just about steered in by Connor Hall, and the non-league side had their nose in front. A set piece not dealt with by Derby County. He was just onside there, but only just. And Chorley lead 1-0.
That is so amazing. Well done, Connor. So I'm going to pass over to Emma Pearce, who's our Director of Sport, who's going to interview Connor today. But Connor, welcome back to LVS. We're so proud of you. Really well done. Over to you, Emma.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks again to Connor for coming in this afternoon for us. It really is fantastic to have you on. So just going to ask a few questions, really, Connor. And the first one for me is, you joined obviously LVS Ascot in 2009, when you were 11, and we encourage as a school for you to embrace lots of different opportunities, and we do support students to enable them to fly, and one of those ways that we allowed you to do that was by offering you a sports scholarship. So we just wanted to know what that meant to you to get that sports scholarship.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant because I remember when I went into year 7, I didn't apply for one or anything at the start. It wasn't something I was sure that I was able to do because I didn't have a lot of sort of confidence going into the school. But, after my first year, I got offered the sports scholarship, which was amazing. It showed the school's belief in me and all the support that they'd show me throughout, and that showed throughout the rest of my time at the school.
Excellent. And obviously with such talent, was it tempting to kind of put all of your energy into sport, or, were you encouraged, by your parents? I know the school did encourage you, to focus on your education, but was there, was it tempting at times, as you were doing really well, for you to channel that energy into your football?
Yeah, it's difficult trying to balance your sport and your education, but at the end of the day, they're both very important things. Like for me, I've always wanted to be a footballer. I played every single sport in the school just to sort of widen my knowledge, if you like, of all sports. Because it does help for, if I play rugby and cricket, it does actually help football wise as well. But the main thing for me there was obviously getting my GCSEs. If I hadn't have got my GCSEs at school, I wouldn't have got into the college, which enabled me to actually go pro. So, it was a massive thing for me, trying to balance that up. And, I did manage to do that. Had a few distractions, obviously, but I managed to get through them, which is good through that for my parents. My parents are very education orientated. So, they helped a lot.
And I know that we remember, sitting at a parents' evening and, your parents were really drilling the importance of the education into you and saying, you must get those GCSEs, but also you can play your football as well.
Yeah, it was a bit annoying at the time, to be fair. You think, when you're like sort of 13, 14, you're thinking, I just want to play football. But, I don't realise till sort of now how important that side of it actually is. So yeah, no, credit to them for sort of pushing that for me, like they're pushing it for my little brother at the minute as well. He's just in his GCSE year now, so.
Good. And I think, with this whole sports scholarship that we offer at LVS, we've had many opportunities in the last sports scholarships where we were still able to do it during lockdown. We did it online, and we were still able to offer even more scholarships this year. So that's really good for us, and it allows the students to embrace that. But obviously you kind of moving into the football world, did you have a backup plan? Let's say that you weren't in a position where you are now. Did you ever think, I might not make it? What was the resilience there that you had to have?
Yeah, so for me, like I said, I needed to get my grades for GCSE, and then when I went to college, also I did a BTEC, so I needed to get enough sort of UCAS points there in order to get into university if I needed to. The ideal thing for me, if I didn't make it pro, I probably would have ended up doing one of them American scholarships. But you know, like I said, I would have needed all my grades to go there. But you know, for me, luckily enough, I worked hard enough to manage to actually get myself a pro. But you know, it's been hard recently with COVID and not been playing as much. So you know, you've always got to look at a backup plan. I got a coaching job at the start of the season when I wasn't playing as much. So that was something I did. That was a qualification I got. And I wouldn't have been able to get the job had I not got my coaching badges. So, you know, it's just things like that. You've got to have a little backup plan, which I did. And, you know, hopefully I won't have to use it. But if I do, then it's there just in case.
No, that's really good. That's really good to hear. So do you think that, you know, when you were studying for your GCSEs, your A levels, that you were encouraged to be a team player, you know, and when, you know, what examples in school could you give, or outside of school could you give, of you being a team player?
Well, I think the main thing for me was obviously you and my PE teacher, weren't you, at the time for GCSE? I think every single sport we actually did there was a team sport, wasn't it? Really, that I can remember. Like even the boys doing netball, hockey, and we had obviously all the sort of other lads doing rugby and football and cricket. You know, they're all team sports, which is obviously all encouraged by the school. So, you know, that obviously helps a lot where I'm at now, because you know, if I hadn't done all them team sports and say we did like a boxing or something like that, it's not really a team sport. It's more individual, and you know, it helps you in life as well, to, you know, for your social side of things as well, like getting to meet new people and stuff. So no, it was very good.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that success is celebrated in every form, isn't it? You know, we're very much a school that is creative, academic, and sporting, and you know, the school recognises you know, that within everybody. So just moving on to the next question, how did your teachers at LVS help you to keep on track really with the academic studies?
It was good at the time, because like you said, we had to miss a few, when I think it was Wednesday afternoons where we missed education and stuff. So they were very good at kind of the teachers there, like sending you work, making sure you did it and stuff. And you know, you get punished with a detention or whatever if you didn't really do it. So you know, it was good because you got encouraged to do it, and then there was always a punishment. So next time you always think, right, you know, I don't want to do that again, so I better be doing it. And you know, they kept you on top of your work and stuff, which really helped me, because like I said, missing a few lessons a week, you know, it adds up at the end of the year, doesn't it? So if you fall behind, then it's very difficult to catch back up.
Yes, and you know, we've got lots of people now that are, you know, either on the stage, you know, looking to go to the West End, or they're, you know, wanting to pursue a sport at an elite level. And we do allow, you know, it's not just on a Wednesday afternoon anymore. We do allow you know, students to have that time off when needed. Obviously, you know, during lockdown, it's been quite difficult for students to, you know, learn remotely. But I think, you know, everybody in the whole school were doing a fantastic job. You know, we delivered something like last lockdown, over 2,000 lessons. And, you know, it was just absolutely amazing to see, you know, really from the students, you know, the motivation, the passion, you know, the video evidence that they were supplying. So, you know, could you just tell us a little bit about how, you know, what you've experienced during lockdown? Have you found it difficult? Has it been hard to train? You know, could you give any advice to our students or parents or anybody that's, you know, going through this right now?
Yeah, it's obviously a very strange and difficult time for everyone. I think when it first came in, when COVID first came into the country in about March, I don't think anyone thought we'd still, in the turn of the year, be in a lockdown. So, you know, it's dragged on a lot more than what we thought. So, you know, it's obviously not great for people who have bad mental health, and even people that struggle, that living on their own. So, you know, it is tricky. For me, I tried to, you know, by sticking by the rules, you're allowed to go out once a day. So I try to make my run extra long, just trying to be out for as long as I can. You know, if you've got a dog like we do, you know, take it for a walk for as long as you can as well. You know, just kind of stay out and make the most of your opportunity. But yeah, it's difficult. You know, there's not a lot. Obviously, people have different coping mechanisms and stuff. But yeah, for me, it was running, trying to keep fit. I knew at some stage we'd be going back to football, so yeah, I just was doing like 10Ks every day, just trying to keep up my fitness and stuff, which was good. You know, it's helped me now because I'm going into games now, and if I had have just sat around for sort of 4 or 5 months when we were in the lockdown, I probably still wouldn't be up to fitness now. So yeah, it was good for me that came about, because to be honest, it got me the fittest I'd ever been at one stage. So that's me trying to get a positive out of a negative situation.
And that's always really good to look at it like that. And I think, more than ever, the physical well-being and mental well-being is really, really important. So with your career, have you had any knockbacks? Has there been any times where you think, oh, I'm not gonna make it, I'm gonna give up? What kind of advice or story or journey could you explain to our everybody out there about what you've gone through?
Yeah, well, I've had a lot. I don't want to bore everyone with my life story, but I didn't get into the professional game till like I was a month before I was 18. I'd been to 5 or 6 different professional clubs, Palace, Charlton, Cardiff, Fulham, and then there was another one as well. I can't remember, but I've been on so many trials and got told no so many times, and after sort of 2 or 3, you think, is this worth it, getting rejected all the time? But I kept going, I kept working hard. Even though I kept getting sent back to my college saying, no, we won't have him, I kept going, and I managed to get myself a 6-month pro at Sheffield United when I was 18. Did well, so I signed another year. And then after a couple of months, we got a new manager in, which was Chris Wilder, who's currently there at the minute. And he just said, no, not good enough. So from then, I spent the whole season out on loan. I went to about 3 or 4 different clubs in non-league, and I managed to get a move to Bolton after that for the under-23s. Had a great first season. Finished the top goal scorer in the league for the under-23s. Broke the record for the amount of goals in the league as well, which is still probably one of my best achievements I've had personally. And then the season after that, we had loads of money problems at the club. I didn't get paid for 6 months. Which was like the worst time in the world, because we weren't training either, because lads were all going on strike and stuff. Because like you do, if you don't get paid, you're not gonna train and that. But we went into the start of the season after, and I was supposed to be starting the first game of the season in League One against Wycombe. And 2 days before the start of the season, we were doing some shape, and I stretched for a ball. And I've just gone over on my ankle, and I tore a ligament in my ankle, and I had to have surgery, and I was out for about 4 months. So just as my opportunity for playing first team come about, something like that happens, and then you see all your mates on the telly playing, and sat at home in a cast, and you're thinking, could have been me, should have been me, sort of thing. So, that was difficult, but like I said, I got myself back fit. Raring to go, and then first game back for the first team, came on it was in the FA Cup actually, came on, and then I pulled my hamstring, so I had to go off again. So it's just a constant knockbacks, and like from then on it was kind of, I knew my time at Bolton was up. I got released in the summer, and I was thinking, it's another knockback. That's probably sort of 8 or 9 in the last 4 years, isn't it? And then eventually I managed to get myself a move to Woking at the start of the season. That didn't work out, so that's another thing. I'm thinking, I'm playing, drop down from League One to National League, and I'm not getting a game. So then I came to Chorley, and then since I've come here, it's just been, it's been amazing. Like, it's probably been the best.
Fantastic, yeah,
highlight of my career. We've played the FA Cup, especially. We beat Wigan, we beat Peterborough, we beat Derby, and then obviously we played Wolves the other day. Put up a great fight, only lost 1-0. Yeah, nearly scored. Yeah, I got a header and stuff, and Keeper made a good save. But we did amazing. We were so proud of ourselves getting that far. For a 6th tier side, getting to the last 32, I think it was, the FA Cup. Yeah, it was amazing.
And obviously with that resilience, you know, it's developed through, you know, being at school, isn't it? You know, through the education that you get, and also that sport, and, you know, kind of the value of sport, the learning values that you get while being at school, being on the sports pitch, you know, things like going on the minibus and having the music pumping, and, you know, but then still coming back, and you may have been defeated, but, you know, everyone's still happy about how they've played. And, you know, you must have had some really good kind of experiences there, you know, being amongst your teams.
Yeah, it's funny you say about resilience for education, because I remember I had studied RS for one of my GCSEs,
Right.
and we always do a mock before the actual GCSE, and in the mock exam I got 0 out of 80, and I was thinking, Jesus, like what is going on here? I've been learning this for a year and a half, and I've got everything wrong. And then my teacher was like, I think it was Mr. Allen at the time. I don't know if he's still there, but we did. He said my exam technique was literally perfect. It's just everything I wrote was just rubbish. So he was like, you need to work on your content and keep the same technique. Yeah. And then when I took the actual exam, I got an A-star, and it was just it was the most ridiculous. Like, it was the only A-star I got. It was the only A I got, you know. So it was.
That's excellent.
I had to work hard on that and revise for that, and, you know, it was a bit mad to go from one extreme to the other. But like you said, with sport, obviously, I remember we had the ISFA Cup. We had that. I think we got to the quarter-final against Binfield. We had we were all on the coach together, you know, we were all buzzing for the game. You know, we got there, we ended up losing 5-0. So, like, they were unreal. I think they won it in the end. But we were on the way back. Everyone was just like, you know, it's brilliant that we got this far, sort of thing, you know, all together with your mates and that. So
celebrating that team's success of, you know, where you've got to, and, you know, and it kind of goes back to where you are, you know, getting through to the 4th round in the FA Cup, as you've just said. It's absolutely brilliant. We've just got a question here from Andy Preston from the Wokingham Today. He asks, how vital was your experience of playing football at youth level for Binfield Lions, Eldon Celtic and Ascot United? And what did you learn most playing at those clubs?
I think the best thing for me playing there was, you see a lot of boys go through the academy. Like my brother at the minute, who's at Chelsea, he's literally been there since the start, since he was like 7 years old. So he's never really had that experience of playing with his mates. You know, obviously he's mates with everyone at Chelsea, but, you know, for me, it was lads that I grew up with, lads I went to primary school or secondary school with, you know, playing together, you know, like taking the mickey out of each other on a Monday when someone misses an open goal at school, you know, just stuff like that is the best thing. But, you know, I think at that sort of level, it's a lot more, even at youth level, it's a lot more, you know, it's not as technical. So you need to be a lot more sort of physical, you know, put yourself about a bit more. And that ends up helping in men's football, you know, especially me having to drop down to non-league. It's helped me a lot coming up against sort of physicality of people, you know, even lads that are bigger than me now. I know, you know, from my youth days, used to play against kids who were 6 foot when they were 13, you know, but, you know, it's still, for me, I can think, right, well, you know, I did it against him. Just because he's a little bit stronger doesn't mean I can't do it against him now. And, you know, it all adds up, and it's all experience at the end of the day. It was just fun. And I think that's where I got my enjoyment of football, was at Binfield, Ascot and Eldon.
And I think that grassroots, you know, football is really, really important, isn't it? You know, it's where you do learn, you know, all your skills. You know, you gain lots of knowledge from your coaches, don't you? And then you use that to move forward into the, you know, the career that you're having at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I was there till I was about sort of 16, playing at that Sunday league level. And when I went to college, it got a bit more professional. Like, all our coaches sort of like UEFA B, UEFA A license and all that. So they're all like professional coaches, really. So that helped me a lot there. And then as soon as I went there, you started learning aspects of the game you wouldn't usually learn, you know, if you were just playing sort of Sunday league. So then I developed my knowledge further, which enabled me to go on and you know, be successful and get a professional contract.
Excellent. So what would you say is a typical day for you? So obviously, I know you're going to be training, aren't you? It's still training, but, you know, if we're thinking about the nutrition and exercise, you know, can you just go through what a normal day is for you?
Yeah, this season for me is a bit different because our training's been put to the evenings now rather than the mornings. So for me, it would be, I'd probably wake up about sort of 10ish, get up, I always make sure I down a pint or two of water within the first hour of getting up, just to hydrate myself, because that's something I used to always struggle with. I used to wake up and I used to wait an hour to have my first drink, and I used to not feel great for the whole day. So I've done a bit of research on it, and that was something that people said benefited them. So I tried it, and I felt like a new person. Even though there's only water, you have so much more energy. Staying hydrated. So that's something I'll always do. And then just chill for an hour or so. I'd usually go gym, but they're closed at the minute. So sometimes I'll do a home workout. There's a gym at Chorley as well, which I'll go to twice a week. But yeah, most of the time, say I'm going to the gym, it'll be Monday. Wake up at 10, have my water, my food, head to the gym about midday. Come back, chill for like sort of a couple of hours, then we train at Leyland, which is about 20 minutes away from Chorley. So I'll head over there. Training's usually about 2 hours long. Usually consists of some running at the start, then some passing drills, possession, and then usually some sort of small-sided games or something at the end. Pretty much every club does the same sort of training. And then get home.
Have a specialised diet that you follow? Do you have a strict diet?
I don't have a strict diet as such, but I've got an app called MyFitnessPal. I'm sure you've probably heard of it, but so I track my calories every day. So if I've got a day where I've eaten right, I've eaten really well, and I've still got sort of 500 calories left, after training, I might have a chocolate bar just to kind of treat myself, just because I know I can afford to have that, So it's it's, for me, I don't like having a must eat this at this time, must eat this at this time and all that. So I'd rather just have, as long as I sort of have my 3 or 4 good main meals a day and I'm not snacking a lot, that's the main thing for me. And I try and track that as best I can. It is difficult, especially now like I'm living on my own and stuff. It's very easy just to go to the fridge and just grab something in it, but you got to try and stay disciplined. So yeah, I think in terms of diet, I do eat healthy, but I do it with a calorie deficit rather than an actual have this at this time.
I think, when you're at school, you learn so many different values, don't you? You said about being disciplined. When you're in education, you have to be disciplined to, hand that work in on time, and then it goes to things like, with the physical, mental well-being, being disciplined to motivate yourself to get up every day and go for a run or do some exercise.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said at school with the discipline, I think I only got, in my 5 years, I think I got 1 detention for not finishing homework, and that was because I did one side of the A4 sheet and I didn't turn it over, and there was another thing on the back. So that was the only thing I got in trouble for since I was at school. So I was one of them ones. I always handed it in on time, always did everything. So I feel like if you get into good habits at school, it does help you in life. When you leave, it does help you, because you'll then go to sixth form if you go, or college. Then the next step's uni. And I know my girlfriend's at uni at the minute, and she's she's working really hard on it, but still struggling to hit deadlines because of the amount of work there is. So if you get into good habits at school, then it will help you in your further education.
Yeah, being able to manage that time effectively, isn't it, as well? Excellent. So what would you say is like the hard, I know we've talked a little bit about it, but what's the hardest knockback that you faced in your career so far? And how did you overcome it? I know, talking back again about resilience, but how did you overcome, the injury that you sustained, or, not getting in, not playing for Bolton, continuing in that route?
I think that the worst one was probably the injury. I had so I tore my syndesmosis, which is like a ligament that connects your tibia and your fibula.
And that at GCSE, did you?
Of course.
Did I teach that?
You did. No, it was a painful one, because as I did it, I dislocated my leg as well at the same time. Luckily, it weren't too bad. It went out and back in straight away. So it was still really painful. And on the way, I was knowing I was going to start the first game of the season. like getting in the I think it was like the secretary's car who took me to the hospital, because otherwise I would have had to wait like 3 hours for an ambulance. Just sat there with gas and air because I was in so much pain, just thinking, this ain't good. I could be out for a long time. I think I got, to be honest, me having surgery and being out for 4 months, I got away with it. Could have been a lot worse. Could have been a full season. So that's the positive side of it. Like that, it could have been worse, but it was heartbreaking. At the same time, it was the worst thing in the world. Coming out of, I went in, had surgery, and then I went home for 2 weeks. They gave me some time off just to sort of get my head straight. And then, I spent my whole time sat on the sofa. You can't eat what you usually eat because you're not doing any training. So you've got to be really strict with that. You're watching Gillette Soccer Saturday and you're seeing all your mates get a chance. They think, they go to Ian Dowie, who's at Bolton, saying, Ronan Darcy's just made his debut and all that. And you're thinking, he's 3 years younger than me. That should be me playing right now. And it's just so frustrating and it's so mentally tough. But at the same time, it's made me as strong as I am now, because I don't think, stuff like that, I don't think you'll get a lot worse than what I've got so far in football. If you include that and the whole not getting paid for so long, and I've countless times I've travelled with the first team when we were in the Championship, and I've either not made the squad or I've got the bench and not got on. It must have happened to me about I'd say about 50 games probably over the 3 years at Bolton. So it's just one of them ones where you've kind of had it as bad as I can have it. So nothing's going to kind of get in my way now. I'm doing well this season. I'm playing well. I'm scoring goals. Got 8 goals in 15 games, I think, this season. Which is a decent little return. So if I can keep up that goal record for the rest of the season, then hopefully I get myself a move back to the Football League by, hopefully middle of the year when the new season starts.
Excellent. So what advice would you give our students at the moment that are, maybe on the elite pathway, that are not, being able to train at the moment and, attend be in a normal situation? What would your advice be?
Obviously you're not training at the minute properly, but you can still go out and do your own stuff, can't you? If you can go for a run, or if you've got it doesn't even have to be weights. If you've got a sofa, you can sort of just lift up and do some sort of bicep curls with anything. You can be so, open-minded with stuff, and you can do some sort of a home workout. Just try and stay on top of it all, because if you go a week without actually doing anything, it's mad how much it affects your body. Like I remember during the season, last season, I stopped going to the gym for a week. I just didn't go for a week, just got a bit lazy with it. And then the first time I went back, I was trying to lift what I was lifting before, and it took me about a month just to get back up to speed of what I was at before. So just try and keep fit. Just try and do what you can to keep yourself in the best condition, whether that's eating right, whether that's running, whether that's doing a home workout, anything like that, or if it's all of the above, just do what you can and keep fit.
So, obviously at LVS, we're very much kind of, inclusivity. We allow lots of different opportunities for students to take part in, whether it's on the stage, whether it's Duke of Edinburgh, whether it's sporting, whether it's debating club, whatever it might be, and we obviously have our own ethos here at school. What kind of sports motto or inspirational quote would do you abide by?
Well, my kind of, for me, obviously it'll be different for everyone, but for me, my kind of motto is try and play as high as you can for as long as you can in terms of football. Like, don't go to a team a little bit above your level and sit on the bench and not play. You'd rather drop down a league or two and then make yourself, play every game, get yourself out there, because no matter what league you're in, if you're playing well, for me as a striker, if I'm scoring goals, everyone's going to see that. I've scored 3 goals in the FA Cup this year. All of them have been on TV, and so everyone's seen that. So I've dropped down a level or two from what I was at, but I'm probably getting more exposure than what I've ever got, even when I was at Bolton, who were in the Championship. So it's just play games for as high as you can for as long as you can. That's what I always say. But another thing I always have is, I know it's a standard cliche one, but never give up on anything, because like I said, I had 5 or 6 clubs that told me that they didn't want to sign me. I wasn't good enough. you know, I got told I was too small, and all that stuff. So, you know, it's all them things like that people say, you know, it gets in your head a bit, but you think, nah, hang on a minute, football's a game of opinions. Like life is, like a lot of sort of sports things are like that. So one person might think, oh, you're the worst player in the world, and another person might think, hang on, he fits right in my team, you know. So just stick at it, really.
Yeah, and within education, obviously, you know, that should also, you know, kind of transfer into an education setting, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Like I said, with the resilience thing, like with my religious studies, you know, like just going back to that, that's the one thing I always remember at school, getting called into parents' evening because I got an ungradable paper, and then going in and getting an A star on the actual paper just because I knew it was something I struggled with, rather than thinking, oh, you know, I got a U, there's no chance I'm going to do well in that. So I'm just going to leave it and revise everything else. I thought, no, I'm going to crack down on that and just work hard on that. And that's what I did. And that's how I come out with a good grade in it. So, you know, even if you're rubbish at something, or you think you're rubbish at something, you can learn it if you revise enough. And like you said about my parents, they were very revision orientated. You know, I remember during my GCSEs, a lot of my mates would go into the park and playing football and stuff, and I wanted to be there, but you know, every time I went to leave the house, she'd lock the door and, you know, hide the key so I couldn't get out. But no, it was good. And yeah, just stay resilient. That's like you said, in education and in sport, because, you know, even if you think you can't, you will be able to do it eventually.
And I think it's that whole thing of, you know, it is okay to fail, you know, having that support from teachers within school, you know, very much here at LVS, where, you know, we allow students to fail so that they learn from those experiences, and then they can, you know, learn how they're going to then, you know, what they're going to do to improve or do better.
Yeah. Like failure is a massive part of like going forward, isn't it? You know, a lot of people have heard that saying, like, one step back, two steps forward sort of thing, because when you're actually playing or doing education or anything in life, really, if you get a little knockback or you've done something not quite right, you're going to think, oh, I did that wrong. I'm making sure I'm not going to do that wrong next time. So it's another thing. Next time you do that you're definitely going to get right, because you've got it in your head. I'm not going to do that wrong. I'm not going to do that wrong. So it's always you taking that step back, but then you're never going to take a step back again, because you know you've got that. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
High, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. So you just keep learning from your mistakes, really.
So my next question is, who is the best player you have ever played against, and why?
Well, obviously played Wolves the other day. So for me, I played against Connor Cody, Willie Bolly, Max Kilman. They're all regular starters in the Prem. Played against Luke Ayling, Calvin Phillips, Calvin Phillips is obviously in the England squad at the minute. Played against him a couple of years ago when I played for Bolton. I'm trying to think. I played with a lot of good players. I played with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's doing well at the minute. You know, nearly top goal scorer in the Prem, I think. So, yeah. Played against Carl Walker-Peters, who just this season moved to Southampton for £12 million, I think. Wow. Played with Matty Cash, who's at Aston Villa and plays right back for them. I think he's just been bought for 16 million. So there's a lot of players I played with that have gone on and done really well. And, you know, hopefully for me, I want to follow in their footsteps.
Why would you say they're some of the best players that you've played against?
Work rate. They're just so, like, they don't go to football, come out of football and think, right, that's me done for the day. They'll go to football, and then everything they do outside of that is completely football orientated. You know, they're at a stage, especially where, you know, they're earning a lot of money. That they know they're not going to have another job at the end of this, because if they're sensible with it, obviously. So they know, as big of an opportunity I've got at the minute playing the Premier League, if I keep going, I can earn that extra contract, get a bit of extra money, you know, earn that extra, and sort of keep my grandkids going, you know, for when, like, if they're struggling and stuff. So they just got that mentality, that elite mentality that, you know, top players have, where you only look at Ronaldo, what is he, like 35 or something, and he's still in probably one of the best conditions a footballer's in. And at that age, you should be going downhill, you should be deteriorating, but because his mentality is so elite and his work rate is so high, that's why they're flying at the minute.
So what does it take for a team, Chorley FC, to get so far in the FA Cup? Because it truly has been incredible, absolutely amazing. And I know lots of our parents and students have been watching you on BT Sports. So, what does it take for a team to get so far in the FA Cup?
It was much belief as anything. I think I don't know how many people watched the Wigan game, but we were 2-0 down after about half an hour against the League One side, and we're thinking, we're gone here. Everyone knew, like, oh yeah, Chorley are done. And then they got a red card just towards the end of the first half, and then we went in at half time, and our manager's just gone, you're 2-0 down. No one expects you to win. Just go out there and just show the world what you can do. Show the world why you shouldn't be playing for Chorley, why you should be playing for a team, like Wigan, or a team in Wigan's league. So we went out there with the thought, right, well, we're basically out, so we might as well just give it a go. We might as well just go all in. And honestly, we absolutely battered them the whole game. We got 2 goals in about 20 minutes. And then they just about scraped extra time, to be honest. And then I scored about a minute into extra time to go 3-2 up. And then we just held out and managed to win the game. And, since then, I think we had that, because we had that thing, we should have lost in round 1. Every game was kind of a bonus. So we went in, we respected every opposition we played, but we didn't fear them at all. Even when we played Wolves, who got some of the best players in the country, really, like, we just went there and they came to us, but we went into the game thinking, we're just going to go there. We're just going to play our best football and try and stay in the game for as long as we can, which we did. And we were very unlucky. I think we had more shots on target than them. We had more sort of chances. Like, I think they had 1 shot on target the whole game, which was obviously their goal. And us and Man City are the only teams to prevent them from having more than 1 shot on target this season, which I thought was a bit of a mad stat. But yeah, it was just pure belief. It was just pure belief, thinking we can win. Going into Peterborough, they were, at the time, it was round 2, so there was no Championship sides or Prem sides in it yet. At the time, they were the best side we could have drew, because they were top of League One. We went there, we were 1-0 down after about 80 seconds, and then we played them off the park. We hit the post twice. We missed the penalty, and we still won the game 2-1. So yeah, it was amazing. It's been a great run.
Fantastic. So obviously, you've got your Newcastle United fan. You've got a role model in sport. What was it like to meet the man himself, and what advice did he give you?
Yeah, it was such a surreal experience. I got obviously the message off him on Twitter, and he was just saying, I'd want to do an interview with you kind of next week. And I remember when I got the message, I clicked on his profile like 3 times just to make sure it was him and it wasn't like a troll account, because I was like, surely not. But he actually managed to. We got an interview done last Monday, I think it was, and on the Zoom call again, when I logged in, I was thinking, is that definitely him? It's not a lookalike, is it? But yeah, it was the most surreal experience ever. He was a proper nice guy as well. Like, the interview was about half an hour, and then after it, we were just sort of sat chatting for about 15 minutes, just about sort of everything. I was just saying to him, how much I used to watch him when I was a kid and that, and he was just saying he's watched all of Chorley's games, even the game against Wigan he watched, because he loves the whole idea of non-league sides in the FA Cup proper rounds. So he just said, we were just chatting for a while, and it was such a surreal experience. And when I went off the call, I was just sat there looking at my phone, thinking that actually just happened, So,
and just in case no one does know who your role model is, do you want to just maybe tell any?
Oh yeah, big Alan Shearer.
So just from us, really, Connor, lots of teachers and students have said how just truly amazing it's been to know how you're getting on, but also follow your football career. And I just think it's we as LVS here, we want to keep going on that journey with you. We would love to have you in for our sports awards at some point, when we're able to have larger gatherings. But we're going to hand back now to Mrs. Cunniffe and just see if there's any questions that have been ongoing in the chat. But from me, thank you so much for coming along today, and over to you, Mrs. Cunniffe.
Yeah, thank you so much. I've been sat here smiling all the way through. It's been wonderful hearing the two of you talk to each other. Connor, you're such an inspiration to us, and the fact that you've had those knockbacks and you've got yourself back up and dusted yourself down, so proud of you. You really are an inspiration. And we've got some questions coming through. So the first comment that came through, I hear you're a bit of a singer, is that right? Did you sing during the Match of the Day interview?
Yeah, I did, to be honest. I regret it now because I've had so many people take the mickey out of me for it. But all the lads sing a bit of Adele whenever we won an FA Cup game, and I had to do the interview straight after the game, so I actually missed the song. So I thought I'll make up for it and I'll do it on the telly.
So we're not likely to get a line or two now, are we?
No, I've learnt my lesson, unfortunately.
I said I wouldn't put you on the spot. Okay, and lots of messages coming through about juggling when you were effectively doing your BTEC and your academic time. Was it difficult to balance that time? Did you have to be really disciplined during that time? Yeah,
it's a tricky time because as much as me, when you're younger, all you want to do is you just want to play football, you just want to do your sport and stuff. So, you don't realise until you get a bit older how important the education side is. But I think for me, it was, even getting in late from training when you're a bit younger, you get in at sort of 9 o'clock and you've got school the next day. Sometimes it's easy just to get in and think, I'll go to bed, I'll get up early, do my homework, or, I'll try and do it in tutor or something like that. I know a few people who used to do that, but for me, it was always right. I mean, I don't want this hanging over me when I'm sleeping. So you just go in and you just get it done when you get in from training. And it's so much easier. And just to have, rather than saying, I'll do it tomorrow, if you have got time, then it's always better to get it done there and then. It was like with homework and stuff I used to get sort of 3-4 days to do it sometimes. And for me, I'd always do it on the night just because it was just so much easier just to get it done the day you got it while it's fresh in your mind. And then because the next day you don't know how much homework you're going to get.
That's really good advice. Another question came through. What other sports did you play when you were at school, and what made you lean towards football eventually?
I did football, rugby, cricket. I think I played tennis at one point. I remember doing netball and hockey in Miss Pearce now. It used to be Miss Bunyan, didn't it? Miss Pearce's class. So I did literally everything I could. To be honest, it was just something I really enjoyed doing. We had a really good year group of sort of boys and girls, to be honest, for school. So it was enjoyable doing sport. You always had sort of 3, 4 or 5 people that were good at select sport. So that was really good. And I enjoyed it. The reason I came football, I think, was because it was just the thing I was the best at out of all of them that I did. And I thought I had more of a chance of sort of making a career out of football than I did anything else.
And you always supported school with your sport. You were always there, you're always playing in your matches. And then I think you said to me the other day, then you'd go off and play your club sport as well, didn't you? I mean, how did you juggle all of that?
It was tricky. We had to pull a few strings with the club manager, to be honest. We had to keep saying to him, school would kick off at 9. We had to say, any chance you could do like a 11:30 kick off for club, so we could go play a full match for school. It weren't even necessarily football. Sometimes it was a rugby match for school, and then going off and playing. I remember actually a funny story. We played Forest at rugby, and one of the lads in Forest's rugby team plays in my football team. So we played the game. And then as the full-time whistle went, he came from his team, I came from my team, got in my dad's car and we drove to our game.
That's brilliant. And there's a question here. Looking back at your schooling, is there anything you would have done differently, looking back at school?
Honestly, I don't think I would have done. I enjoyed it, everything I did. I did the Duke of Edinburgh, like Miss Pearce mentioned before, which was, I didn't really want to do it at the time. It was something my mum and dad pushed me towards. But when I did it and when it was actually done, it was a good feeling because it was a good couple of days. You spent it with your mates, sort of thing, and that was something that I'd recommend doing that I didn't want to do, but I ended up enjoying it. And there's a few things I didn't particularly want to get involved in that I didn't get involved in, and I know a few people did and they enjoyed it. So like the drama stuff, it was never really my sort of area of expertise, should I say, but people did that and enjoyed it. So just do as much stuff as you can. That's what I'd say. A lot of extracurriculum stuff does go a long way.
There's a bit of a cheeky question here from Harrison Dodd, and he says, is Lewis better than you? I
was going to say, I'm sure he's one of Lewis's mates. No, He's not. I can't give him that satisfactory of saying he is. But he's better. He's better at FIFA. That's all I'll say.
Anyway, nice to hear from you, Harrison. And another one here, because we've got some of our sports scholars' parents are online here, and some of the children are part of Chelsea Academy. Are there any other academies that you'd sort of like push children towards?
What, in terms of football?
Yeah.
What other academy? Honestly, at this stage, going into secondary school, sort of 13, 14, it's a tricky age because you want them to enjoy it. You know, you want them to have that experience of playing with your friends, but you know, being at academy, you can't turn down an opportunity like that, because it might be something that even if you're only there 2-3 years, you get in professional coaching, and it's something that's brilliant. So if you can get into any sort of academy at that age, you know, it's excellent. Chelsea obviously is an exceptional one. So, you know, if your son can do, you know, keep his head and do well there, then, you know, you've got a strong chance, even if he doesn't make it at Chelsea. It's thought of as one of the best academies in the country. So he'll be able to go off to probably any other sort of London-based academy. If you look at the likes of, you know, Fulham, Arsenal, Spurs, a lot of lads that get released from Chelsea do tend to go to places like that.
Brilliant, thank you. And we've got a question from Ethan, who's 9 years of age in school, and has said, how excited were you when you scored the winner against Derby?
Yeah, it was unreal. It was amazing. Yeah, there was such a big build up to the game. I barely slept the night before. Tried to get an early night, but I was just lying in bed, just thinking about it. You know, just thinking, oh, imagine if I actually score tomorrow. Imagine I get that chance. And I was just thinking all the scenarios in my head. You know, what could happen, what I'd do in certain situations. And you know, when I woke up, I felt a bit tired the next morning because, you know, it was an early kickoff, so I couldn't even have a line or anything. But yeah, when I scored, it was amazing. It was a great feeling. It was quite early on in the game as well, so it settled the nerves for me especially, and I know for a few of the lads, because to score really early in a game, you know, take the lead, it's very difficult for the opposition to. You got to have a lot of character to then get back and do well in the game. So yeah, for me to score early was amazing. It was a great feeling.
So when you connected with the ball, did you think, this is it, it's going in?
Yeah, because it was a weird one, because I think that the Derby one was from obviously from a corner, wasn't it? So it got played to the back post, and as it got headed back across, I just thought, I'm just going to gamble that the ball's going to come sort of around this area. And luckily enough, you know, I think one of the lads headed it, and then it hit someone's shoulder, and it just came to me. I just thought, if I get anything on this, it'll go in. And luckily, I was in the right place at the right time, and I managed to get a little nick on it, and you know, we went in.
Brilliant.
I was celebrating in my living room.
It's fantastic, and it's so lovely. So many people follow. I know my kids were running and showing me things on the phone and saying, watch this. So it's incredible, the community that you've got behind you in LVS as well. Another one here. What's your top 3 solo football training skills to practice?
Oh, I've actually never had that question before. I like obviously, as a striker, I like shooting. That's the main thing for me. But obviously, all 3 of mine would be, well, I'd say one of them would be like hold up play, which is, you know, with your back to goal. I used to do this one where I had a mannequin or 2 mannequins behind me, and I used to literally lean against it, and then someone would fire the ball into me, and I have to try and control it and play it off. But because you lean into it, you're unbalanced, and it's very difficult to kind of mirror what it would be in a game. But that, like something like that, it does help. And you know, it's something that I've been working on, because it's what I wasn't actually. It was probably one of my weakest attributes, and I needed to have that. So that's something I've worked hard on. And then just shooting drills, just normal like pass, set, shoot, and then a lot of crossing and finishing as well. That's the main thing, because you get so many chances from crosses in games, and you rarely get more than 1 or 2 goals a game from crosses, and most teams get about 20 in the box. So if that's something you work on, then it's going to get you a lot of joy. And you know, we've had that at Chorley this season. We've got a lot of big lads, so we get them all in the box, and our crossing's been brilliant, which is why we've scored a lot of set pieces and a lot of crosses out wide.
Brilliant. Another name from the past here, from Sam Sugars. He said, was there a particular moment? What was the moment when you knew you wanted to pursue a football career?
I think for me, to be honest, it would have been when I left school, because I played all the sports up until year 11. I actually enjoyed rugby more than I did football at school. I think we had a great side, and I just loved playing it. I did football outside of school. I stopped rugby when I was 14 because it was getting a bit much for me. So I just I think it was when I left school I decided, I'm going to go do football now, and it was a good choice for me because I've ended up doing well and getting a pro.
That's brilliant. We've got lots of messages coming in saying that you really inspire people. An 8-year-old son watching, you're inspiring. They're saying, well done, fantastic career, brilliant performance, really good. And also some comments about girls as well, because girls football is raising in profile now, isn't it? Any advice for girls out there?
Yeah, definitely get on it. Definitely play. Like my girlfriend, she's at Salford at the minute, so she plays there. So it's definitely up and coming. The last sort of maybe 5-6 years, it's had a massive raise in their profile. So it's actually something I watch as well when it's on. My girlfriend got me into it. I never used to watch it, but sitting there watching it, especially when the World Cup was on, might have been 2-3 years ago. I was watching that, and it was brilliant. It's good entertainment, and if you can get into it, if it's something you enjoy, don't think, I'm a girl, there's not really many girls teams about. There's always ones about, and it's definitely, even if you're just doing a training session a week, definitely get involved and get playing, because it's not a sport that is just for boys. It's not a sport that's it's boy orientated. It's girls play as well, and there's some very good women footballers out there. So don't think, I'm not too sure about it. Give it a go, because why not?
Brilliant. Connor, thank you so much. You're such a lovely young man. You always were. You are going into the future. We wish you so much luck. We're following you all the time. And I hope you keep in contact with us. And it'd be lovely to see you in school, as Emma said, at some point, if you get the chance. But, well done. We are so, so proud of you. You're amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me on.
Great. Thank you very much. And so next week we have another perspective. So Matt Searle from Henley College is also visiting us. We were cut off by a power cut, you might remember, a couple of weeks ago, but he's coming back next week. So we'll see you then. Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.